And he also stated that the Western parts that were backing Ukraine in a fight, he asked them not to continue pursuing this and not to continue encouraging Ukraine to fight, to war, but to try to push towards an agreement and a possible cessation of hostilities. So, in bottom line, with the most important declarations regarding the situation in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin stated that he was willing to meet with everyone, including Zelensky, although he said that this should come at a later moment in the negotiations when the Ukrainian part was definitely ready to sign the documents for a definite ceasefire. We continue to report on the latest international repercussions as we continue to see images of the recent attacks, recent missiles that arrived in the occupied territories, targeting different areas of those occupied territories in this Operation True Promise 3 launched by Iran, and that has continued to send its self-defense attacks in a show of response and in a show of their willingness to defend their own country, their own people, their own position, and their own right to respond in the same way that Israel has, in an unprovoked manner, attacked their sovereign territory. Let's recall that what we're seeing on screen at this moment started very early Friday morning when Israel sent a series of attacks on Iranian territory, targeting nuclear facilities, targeting military facilities, and also targeting residential areas and civilian population. Over 230 people were killed, were murdered in those rounds of attacks, and 90% of them, at least 90% of them, were civilians. That is the situation that unleashed this recent escalation of violence, and that is what Iran is calling as the first attack, the spark that started this all and that now explains those self-defense launches as the one that we are seeing on screen. Those are images from just moments ago of the most recent attacks sent by Iran that continues to challenge the Israeli military capabilities, the Israeli defense capabilities. We have definitely seen, of course, the final end is still not closed, and the experts will finally decide on the outcome of this conflict. But definitely what we have seen in the past days has been images that cities just such as Tel-Aviv had not seen before. The massive impacts, the massive destruction made by these missiles that many, including those in the occupied territories, thought that could not be possible. Many deemed the Israeli defense systems indestructible and unpassable, and the images showed that this was not the case. Also, in this context, Iranian authorities have stated that they have not used their whole and their entire armed capabilities so far. They are using different missiles and different strategies in each attack. There have been different statements made by authorities, by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as well, regarding what strategies and what armament is being used in each attack. Definitely, this week has been just a new stage in the conflict in the region with images that had not been seen before by an Israeli population that has been actively or passively participating in, for example, an ongoing genocide just kilometers away in the Palestinian territories of Gaza and the West Bank, but had never lived in their own flesh attacks as the ones that the Zionist state unleashed on the civilian population in Gaza, for example. And that has set this week apart in terms of the first missiles hitting ground with the images that we have been seeing. Of course, the targets have been reported on military sites, on power plants, on energy sites, all strategic sites that are involved in this Operation True Promise 3 that has targeted these sites in their strategy of self-defense. Let's recall that the number of casualties in